Hello everyone. We are back. I'm just starting up the server now, and we have images. Yes, we do. So let's dive straight into this. So very sorry we have missed the race start. Looks like the router reboot did its job, and I have some good frames once again. Let me just check if the stream is back online. Yes, we are back online. So very nice to have you here once again. It looks like Nuno Miguel Abreu. Let's just go to the auto director for just a second to get a good recap. Nuno Miguel Abreu had a good start and could fend Papa Michael off in the opening stages of the race. We are in lap 4 at the moment. Robert Horvat made it up to P3. David Dora is in P4. Do we have any DNFs? No, we don't. So it's Abreu in the white and red Mercedes AMG leading the pack with a group of looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars in his wake. We have Robert Horvat and Ralph Arella, the teammates in there. We have David Dore and Vlastimir Lucas also in the same car, so also hunting him down. And we have Nikos Papa Michael right in the mix in 2nd position. So this is the status at the moment. Abreu, Papa Michael, Horvat, Dore, Lucas, Arella, Schultz, Steneker, Rossi and Peck rounding up the top 10. Then Jürgen Walby, also a new driver here for this series, which we forgot to mention earlier. Very sorry for that. Janusz Migas in 12th position, Manojlovic and Bakos in 13th and 14th, Jody Percloy in 15th, Nigel Wood in 16th, and there is some action going on here. Manojlovic in the Corvette. He doesn't get past Janusz Migas. But let's have a quick look here at that front battle from, let's say, the perspective of Vlastimir Lucas. His front bumper seems nice. I think David Dore is a bit closer. Robert Horvat actually is our best view here. So Papa Michael really putting on the pressure on Abreu. Some great sounding GT3 cars, and also the timing sheets were a bit messed up here at the beginning, but looks like everything is back to normal now. So thank you very much for sticking with it. And let's hope for a good 90-minute race. Only 10 minutes we have already done, so still 80 minutes of epic GT3 racing going on. As you can see, the times throughout the whole field still very, very close. Gaps are well, almost never bigger than a second in the whole top 20, more or less. There is a gap with Sasha Schultz there in 7th position. He's seems to be a bit the last one of the front runners. Oh, bit of action there with Valentino Rossi. His teammate Steneker is in front in the hairpin. Petr Peck is involved there, so it's all kicking off here now. but Stenneker and Rossi, the two teammates, at the front of this group here at the moment, but Rossi getting out of shape, and Petr Pek on the outside line for turn 1 now. Can he stick it around the outside? That would be very brave. He's still there, still there. Now he needs to cut across and maybe get a better run out of turn 2. Oh, he's still on the outside. Some bumping, but all good. Maybe Walby can take advantage of that. And sorry if I'm butchering your name. If I am, please let me know after the race so I can correct that for the next races. So the status at the front still the same. Top 5 covered by about 3 seconds. We have our first retirement of the race, Steve Carman, and if I read it correctly, due to crew chief unfortunately bailing out on him for today's race. We have Kochka and Peter Hindle with 100% damage. Looks like those are teammates. It's Peter Hindle in the pits now. David Kochka also missing his front of the car in the Schnitzer BMW. And there was some drama at the front. Very sorry, David Dore dropped from P4, I think, to P15. Did have some kind of issue, it seems, there. And this battle still raging on there. With Pek, Rossi, Manojlovic, Walby, Bakus. Can Bakus take advantage of this in the red? Oh, there's Rossi. Yeah, Rossi turned around in the final corner, and he will lose heaps of positions. Not that much time, but a lot of positions lost there for him. He rejoins in 20th position. Once again, if you have any questions about the league, about the race, about the drivers, just let us know and we'll try to dive into that. It's a bit of a shame we missed the start because it seems like I'm not really up to speed on what's happening. Of course, 32 drivers on this track is nothing. Peter Hindle got it going again and repaired his damage. David Kochka still running around with his damaged car. And again, Walby battling it out with Manojlovic and Bakus there. Now, let's see how that looks from Bakus' perspective. He was almost side by side, but then it seems the Mercedes has a bit of better acceleration out of the turns than the BMW M6. I have to keep an eye on that if that is the case. We have a Merc in first position with Abreu, then Audi, then a Porsche, another Audi, another Porsche, then a McLaren, another Audi, Corvette, Mercedes, BMW. So the first BMW is Peter Bakus here. Looks like this is not really a BMW track. Which drivers are also running BMWs? Kochka, Hindle, and Nigel Wood. So well, those are not the usual front runners. I don't know Nigel and Peter, but they'll have to prove themselves, of course. At the moment, Peter Bakus, the best of the BMWs, representing his brand. Meanwhile, at the front, as close as ever. And let's have a look at best lap times. So best lap times for the top 5 are between 204.1 for Abreu, so he is the fastest man on track at the moment, or so far, and the rest of the drivers behind are ranging from a 204.3 until a 204.8 in terms of fastest laps. The fastest driver on the last lap was Robert Horvat with a 204.8, taking 2/10 out of the cars in front of him. So the Porsche behaving very well here on this track. Oh, very, very wide there. Clive Britton with Nigel Wood, Camaletto, also Simon Fillingham is behind there. Some good action, and looking at the order we rejoined the race, there wasn't too much drama at the start. At least it seemed that way, and the action that we saw so far was also very well behaved. A bit of bumping. Oh, Clive Britton having a spin on his own, unfortunately into the barrier, gets it going again. With a safe-ish rejoin on the apex, but that was all very well handled there. Onto the back straight then. Stefano Merazzi. You can see all the whole grid almost visible on that one back straight. Ralph Varela just slightly falling back from this top 4 group. He's now 2 seconds behind Vlastimir Lucas in front. But as you can see, the pack here at the front as close as ever, and Abreu really soaking up that pressure by Papa Michael, Horvat and Lucas. This Formula 1 truck really working well with these GT3 cars for our season opener. Motegi in 2 weeks' time will be a completely different race, also a shorter race, so a different strategy. But where can Papa Michael or Horvat? Oh, very late braking. He taps Papa Michael and loses the position in the process. Lucas takes advantage and gets up into P3, so Horvat taking the chance for a move there up the inside, but he was a bit too late on that, seeing it like this, and just slightly hit Papa Michael. Fortunately, he wasn't really affected. Still, well, he lost half a second. He's now half a second further down on Abreu, and that's what Abreu, of course, is hoping for. That the guys behind start fighting and tripping over each other. Of course, these guys have quite a bit of experience, as Janusz Migas battling it out with Peter Bacchus, and David Dore is right there with them, picking up the spots. He was down in 15th, will gain the position there from Migas. Yes, he does. And now chasing down Peter Bacchus. Can these guys get into the top 10? They are top 10 material. They are drivers' champions. So let's see what they can do. Meanwhile, strong performances for Stenneker. Well into the top 10. Also Petr Peck doing very well. Sasha Schult is a well-known name in the race room community. Hasn't driven in this league yet, so he's doing very well in 6th at the moment. But he has quite a bit of a gap in front of him, so he's a bit slower than the top 5, which is nothing to be ashamed of course. Let's see if strategy comes into play here. We're probably looking at a 2-stop. The question will be if the drivers will take fuel, and if they do, how much. There was a bit of discussion about that. David Dore, I think that was a bit his own fault, also making a late move. Looks like the same corner as the move by Robert Horvat. Making a bit of a late move there on Peter Backus and losing out massively himself. Back down to 14th, and now he has to pass Migash once again. Meanwhile, Jody Barraclaw keeping it out of trouble and up into P12. Manojlovic on the inside of Steneker on the hairpin. Can Steneker keep it around the outside? No, he can't. Can he switch back? Also right behind Walby and Petr Peck. Some good action, and we have Sasha Schultz here in the foreground of the screen, having a good but lonely race at the moment. I'm sure that will change throughout the course of this race, as we have 70 minutes left. 70 minutes was the race length of our previous GT3 season, in which all the races had the same length. So the drivers are now already well into this race, already 20 minutes, and everything starts to settle down. Everybody starts to get into their rhythm, and actually, just having a look through the lap times, and I see here Nick Phillips has the fastest lap of 2:04.000 and the last lap of a 2:05.2, so that is actually quicker than the front runner, guys. He's in 27th at the moment, but he does seem to have very good pace, although that fastest lap time, that flat 2:04, seems a bit fishy. That might be the game assigning him a lap time for no reason, but that last lap time at 2:05.2, oh, as he makes a spin, so that will not help him, of course. You need to set fast lap times and be able to keep it on the track consistently. So let's see what Nick can produce in the coming laps, to see if maybe Shanghai was just not his race, and we can welcome him in the top 10 or 15 in the coming races. Anyway, nice to see new drivers joining us and sticking with it, showing up for the first race, because that's also something that happens from time to time. People signing up for the league but then never to be seen again, and that's a shame, of course, because you are taking spots from drivers that might want to race. As we said, this series fully subscribed in under a week, so 36 spots handed out. 32 drivers are here today. Let's have a look here at the front. Gap's a little bit bigger than before, but not a lot. And Robert Horvat really sticking with these guys. Abreu was significantly slower than the 4 other guys in the top 4. So he is under pressure. He has a clear lap in front of him, but he needs to watch his rear view mirrors for sure. And in this long of a race with this big of a grid, of course we will see some traffic coming into play. More than I did. We are back here with the drivers, and as we said, as the cars are still loading on the track, Papa Michael was turned around there. He's down into 5th position now, 8 seconds behind Ralph Arella, and not sure what happened there. He was in 2nd position, so did he make a move for 1st, or Was there anything else that that happened? As the timing and scoring is updating once again. So that puts Vlastimir Lucas up into P2. Just picking up the pieces, but he is very much on the pace. And we also see times really dropping now. Fastest laps were low 204s, last laps 206.3. And we have 14 laps done. Pit stops would be made around the 15 lap mark. So will these guys dive into the pits all at once here at the end of this lap, or will we see some more different strategies playing out? Very sorry to see that the connection has deteriorated once again. So I'm going to stick with it for 5 to 10 minutes, but if it doesn't improve, then I'm afraid we will have to stop the stream here, because well, you're not getting anything from this either, which would be a shame, because this race is shaping up to be a really good one. Could as well just keep commentating and maybe upload the video file if it gets recorded, but we'll see. Let's just keep with it, shall we? Janusz Migas is battling it out with Peter Bacchus, and keeping him honest. David Dore is once again right with these guys, so after his mistake, rejoining just behind Janusz Migas and trying to get back past him. Also Walby closed down the gap to Sasha Schult. So that gap closed all the way down. Nikos Papamichail is now in 5th position and quite a bit back from Ralph Arella. Is setting fast lap times. He's setting invalid last lap times. So no idea what his current pace seems to be. Meanwhile, Miguel Abreu faultless at the front of the field. Marcin Bos, Nigel Wood in the pits at the moment. Braking for the hairpin. Will be almost getting past, but Sasha Schult defending very well, and Manojlovic is right there behind them to pick up the pieces. Walby into the pits. And these guys at the front keep going for lap 16, so they are really stretching their first stint. Let's see if that pays off. So the pit cycle's now starting. But unfortunately the connection is not improving. doing speed tests. It looks okay, but doesn't seem to have a stable connection to the YouTube server for some reason. Getting a 7 Mbps upload through OBS, but a red connection rectangle. So unfortunately, that's not looking good. David Torre was in the pits, comes out now, and he looks like he got past. No, he was riding with Migas and Bakus. They are still on the track. The leaders go for another lap. They are now coming up on Marcin Bos, I think, to lap. If anyone could let me know on the stream if the connection or if the stream is looking fine for them or not. For me, it's not looking great. Anyway, let's just stick with the leaders. Stick with the leaders now. I'm assuming they will be pitting at the end of this lap. Although they have 35 minutes under their belts. In terms of fuel, they can make it, so they're just stretching the tires. They're doing 206.4, 206.2. So quite a bit slower. They have to be careful they don't get any undercut from Papa Michael, for example. He was quite a long way back, but it is possible. No, they go for another lap. All three of them. Yeah, they just keep going. As we said, there's just a splash of fuel needed at the end there, so the drivers can still stretch their tire life and maybe go for one stop. That could be an option, but discussions on the forum were all pointing towards a two-stop strategy being the fastest. Walby once again side by side. It seems he's getting some great action in his first RRLeagues race. André Moll up into P12. I think that's due to the pit cycles going through, but still not too bad. Jody Barraclaw also involved in many battles. He's now side by side with Callum Morgan. He's on the outside, Barraclaw on the inside. Looks like Barraclaw got the move done. Very well done by him. And the gap at the front as close as ever. Here's Robert Horvat as they go into the final sector of the track. Here, the long right-hander going onto the long back straight. This is where the tire wear really affects them. You heard Robert lifting, if you were paying attention. So he needs to lift in order for the back end not to step out on him to get onto the back straight. That's of course not ideal. if you want to try and pass the car in front of you. It looked like Lucas and Abreu were a bit more confident in their tires. So maybe Horvat wants to get into the pits now. No, he doesn't. He keeps going. André Mol versus Papa Michael. André Mol 208.5 on the last lap, so that's not great. But the pit cycles going well. Thanks, Ethan, for the confirmation. Maybe I just need to stop watching the stream myself in order to not ballast the connection in any way. Jas Forsberg missing his front bumper and getting 100% damage. Also Peter Bacchus lost his front bumper. He was just in the pits, I think, or at least I saw him stationary. Sasha Schultz and Ralph Arella now in the pits. They were both very close to that top 5. So let's see if they can get a good, clean stop. Ralph is already back on the race. Sasha Schultz was a bit further back. And Nemanja Manojlovic, he's now up into P4, quite a long way back. He was just outside the top 10 earlier, so really a couple of mixed strategies being applied here, which makes it a bit more confusing for us as the viewer, of course. But it's always nice to see different strategies making their way into the race. Simon Fillingham as well, up into P7. He was at the back end of the top 10, so 17th, I think, if I remember it correctly. So here we are. Horvat, as I said, struggling with the tires. He gets into the pits now. Will Lucas and Abreu react to that at the end of this lap? Let's see. Horvat gets it stopped and onto the jacks to replace his tires. Walby, for example, a 204.5 on the last lap, so those new tires really working well for him. This could really mean some kind of undercut if you are close enough to the car in front. Arella 4 seconds behind Papa Michael, so that's also one to watch. Let's have a quick look here at Lucas and Abreu. Horvat got away again, so he is back underway. Yeah, Papa Michael also going through turn 1 now, so I think Papa Michael gained a bit of time there on Horvat. He's just there in the background by pitting earlier. Of course, at the end of the race, that will mean he's a bit more vulnerable, a bit more worn tires. But in any case, that's just the way it goes in these kind of longer races. So what we want to see, will Lucas and Abreu react now, or will they just keep stretching their tires? I think they need to pit now, because Horvat, if they give him 2 or 3 laps to gain some time, then he will get past them. Vlastimil goes into the pits, Abreu keeps going. So very interesting. Lucas was right on the tail there of Abreu. So we'll have to see where he comes out in respect to Horvat. Manojlovic, Stenneker and Peck did not pit yet. André Mol either. Walby, I think, did, so he's legitimately in the top 10 if I'm not mistaken. Sasha Schult did not have a great pit stop, it seems. Where's Horvat? He's at the back straight into the braking zone for the hairpin. Lucas still on the jacks. Going through the last turn now. Horvat going. Yeah, Lucas still on the jacks. Needs to get going quickly. Yeah, gets moving. Horvat already gets past him. So a very strong stop by Horvat. And Papa Michael even passes Lucas. Arella also passes Lucas. So pitting earlier seems to have paid off at the moment. We'll have to see if this will catch out our race leader Nuno Miguel Abreu as well. He's being followed by a car not for position. Looks like, I think that should be Simon Fillingham in the 650S, I think it is. Yeah, would expect Nuno Miguel to come in at the end of this lap. Or he wants to make it a one-stop, of course. This could still work for Horvat, maybe. Think it could, or for Lucas. But the other guys who pitted a bit earlier will really have to stretch their tires, so we will have some interesting strategies playing out at the end of the race. So what can we check here? We have André Mol versus his teammate in the Hello Kitty Mercedes AMG. Barraclaw and André Mol in the same car, the same team. Oh, and Mol lost his diffuser. Not showing up at the moment here. Stanek and Emanuelovic also pit. Peck keeps going, so looks like Abreu and Peck are the brave ones here. They just keep on going. They will try and make this a one-stop race. We'll have to see if that can work for them. Sorry, Petr Peck. Lucky for him at the front of this group. Because those are all cars that are behind him. But, well, the thing is, they're all on fresh tires, so they're all trying to get past. Now, Petr does not have to let them past, but I think he will be slowed down by just having to look in his rearview mirror all the time and see what is happening there. Oh. That's Fillingham, I think. Let's see, Fillingham. Oh, no, it's not Fillingham, sorry. Also not... well, it's Callum Morgan, sorry, Callum Morgan. Just battling it out with Jas Forsberg in the Corvette, and Petr Peck in the Corvette also getting into the pits now. Miguel Abreu in the pits right now. So this is money time for Abreu. I'm quite sure he will lose the lead of this race. But let's see by how much. Also Peck in the pits, so we will have a effective race leader once again in this race. Abreu not on the jacks, it seems, and Horvat already crossing the finish line. Abreu gets going, but Horvat takes the lead of this race, so our current champion taking the lead of the race on strategy. Papa Michael up into second position, and Ralph Arella and Vlastimir Lucas are right there. So our top 5 is right there together. Jürgen Walby and Paraclaw. Now I'm starting to doubt if they have pitted, but looking at their lap times, a 205.4, 205.7, that should be the case. But Robert Horvat lighting up the timing screens with a 203.7 and a 203.8 on the last 2 laps. So he is really flying and trying to break away from this pack and get an advantage and a bit of a cushion to adjust his strategy for the last stint. Once again, if you have any questions about the league, about the race, and about the racers, let us know in the comments. If you like what you see, subscribe to the channel to get notified of any future streams. This complete GT3 Masters series will be streamed, so this will be a bi-weekly appointment with myself and these 36 drivers. In 2 weeks' time we will travel to the Twin Ring Motegi as Abreu wanted to get past Lucas already, so he's already well up to speed. The top 5 now split by about 10 seconds, 12 seconds here at this point. Bit of a slow run through that final hairpin. And Nuno back into the pits. He did get a drive through for whatever reason, but he is into the pits. Didn't see any stewards penalties popping up. Now we also didn't see his car going up on the jacks, which I noticed. So maybe he didn't get any new tires. That could be the case, but that's Nuno Abreu essentially out of this race, unfortunately. Dropping all the way down to 20th position, and still the car not going up on the jacks. This must be very frustrating for him. Gets going once again. Or was it a stop and go? Not sure. He doesn't get going. What's happening here? He finds first gear once again. Now slow for Simon Fillingham to join into turn 1, and he gets going again. He is still very close, so I think he has some kind of technical difficulties. Maybe trying to set up his pit stop screen. In any case, saw a good battle here between Andre Moll and Nigel Wood. They are getting past Nuno Miguel Abreu. Yes, they do. So Nuno's still slow, and Andre in the Mercedes AMG hunting down Nigel Wood in the BMW. Different approaches taken through this fast left-right combination. Bit of braking by Andre and a bit of a smoother run through by Nigel, but in the end it all comes down to the same. A bit of a tighter line there by Andre. Can he get past? We'll have to see about that. Marko Talevski, sorry to jump around with this, got side by side with Stefano Merazzi in front of him through the hairpin, but couldn't make the pass. Meanwhile, Manojlovic gets back past Jack Camaletto. Will Marko Talevski make a move in the Corvette? Oh, has a look to the inside, but there's no room. Now there is. No, there's not. We make the switch back here. Oh, a bit of a slide there for Merazzi, and early on the power for Talevski. This should put him in a good position, but he's on the outside for the next turn, and Merazzi still gets his nose in front. Oh, late move there, but well executed lunge by Talevski. He gets past Merazzi for P14, but very well driven. Now can Merazzi retake that position immediately? It doesn't seem like that is the case here. Meanwhile, here's Ralph Arella in the Audi with Lucas in the Audi with Arella just in front of him. They are right behind Papa Michael, so this three-way battle for P2 ongoing, but they are 8 seconds behind Robert Horvat, and Horvat was 6/10 quicker than Papa Michael on that last lap. Lucas, on the other hand, was even quicker than Horvat. So everything still to play for small margins here at the top of this grid. Oh, and a lot of action there. Camaletto and Schultz, the teammates, being hunted down by Janusz Migas. The teammates need to make sure they don't compromise each other, but they need to try and keep Janusz behind. They are in the top 10. And they want to keep that position. Janusz showing some good pace here. He was in the DTM 92 series in the AM Cup, if I'm not mistaken. Did some good driving there. Won some AM Cup races. And doing very well here as well. Now Lucas side by side with Arella on the back straight. We already saw Lucas was having good pace. He is on the inside as well for the hairpin. This should be a done deal, but Arella keeps it around the outside. Is he still side by side? Yes, he is. So Lucas cannot turn in for the last turn, or can he? Yes, Arella slows down just a little bit and well, not gives Lucas the position, but doesn't fight him too hard for it. Of course, there's still 35 minutes to go, so maybe it's not worth fighting tooth and nail for this. Meanwhile, we just missed the fact that Migas is now in between Camaletto and Schultz. Stenneker and Dor are also right behind. Let's have a look here. Callum Morgan. Getting some good consistent pace here, it seems. He is in 23rd. He will want to move up the grid in the next couple of races, but this is a good first experience for him. Battling with Jas Forsberg behind, one of our experienced drivers. So will be a good experience for him to try and keep Jas behind in the Corvette. And looks like Vlastimir Lucas is a man on fire. He's lighting up the timing sheets at 204.4 once again versus 205 flat for Papa Michael and Horvat. So clearly faster than Papa Michael. Now, of course, he first needs to get past him and then try and close down the gap to Horvat. So that that will not be easy. Forsberg versus Callum Morgan, and Daniel O'Brien is just in front of them, together with Mike Wyatt. And Abreu now down into 26th. Oh, Nigel Wood is a retirement from this race, unfortunately. So we're just having a look at Nuno Miguel Abreu. His last lap at 2:03.8. So he's very quick. We'll have to see where he can end up here at the end of the race. He has a 10-second gap in front of him that he needs to clear until he gets to Valentino Rossi in the Audi. So well, we'll have to see what kind of points he can get from this race. Meanwhile, looking back, from Camaletto, he's side by side with Steneker. Steneker right behind him in the Audi. Steneker really wants to get past here as soon as he can. David Dore is joining the fun, and meanwhile Vlastimir Lukas really putting the pressure on. Oh, on Papa Michael. I was saying he was in front, but he just overshot his braking marker. Rejoins the track. Just in front of Arella, and I think Papa Michael, yeah, he's in the pits. So is that his second stop? It could be. We are at the 30-minute left mark. So did he pit at a 30-minute mark earlier? That could be the case. I think it was a bit later. In any case, Papa Michael seems to be the first one of the two stoppers to make a stop. Of course, he saw that that gave Robert Horvat a huge advantage over the field, so he might feel pitting early now for the final stint, and taking care of his tires in the opening stages will put him closer to Robert Horvat than he could get on the track. Last lap is not really representative for him, but he gets going again. Of course, that off by Vlastimir Lukas puts him 12 seconds behind Horvat. That will not be easy. Oh, very wide there. Quite a lot of pitters at the moment. David Dore, Merazzi, Camaletto also pitting, and Jas Forsberg got past Callum Morgan here on the left. Now he needs to try and keep Nick Phillips behind, who has good braking through the hairpin, and looks like he gets past Callum. Yes, he does. Lucas, meanwhile, closing the gap just a little bit. We need to take a look at the lap times of Papa Michael. We need to keep an eye on that to see what he is doing in comparison with Arella, Lucas, and Horvat. Meanwhile, Walby up into P4. Very consistent race for him. 2:05.9 is his last lap. These guys really going at it. Callum Morgan, Jas Forsberg, Nick Phillips Forsberg and Phillips side by side. Daniel O'Brien is just in front of them as well. Oh, and that was that pack, or, well, Callum letting past Robert Horvat. So that's why he was a bit slower. Now, can he take advantage of Horvat having to go through Phillips, Forsberg and O'Brien? Can he follow through on those? Let's have a look here. Oh, was it Arella? Yeah, sorry, it was Ralph Arella. Let's just stay with Arella. He's 1.5 seconds behind Lucas. They are losing quite a bit of time here getting through this pack. Can Callum take advantage of that? So this is lapping galore. Walby meanwhile into the pits from P4, battling out with Manojlovic and Schult, who were right behind him. Now Papa Michael is also right behind André Mol for P13. He needs to get past those guys as soon as he can to maximize his pace and maybe get close to the lead. Last lap for Lucas was a 2:06.2. Last lap for Arella, 2:05.9. Invalid lap for Robert Horvat, so we don't have a view on that. Papa Michael not showing a good last lap yet, at 2:58, so that's his pit out lap still showing there. Migash and Britain going through, and David Dore behind André Mol. Oh no, André Mol behind David Dore, sorry. And Jody Paraclaw just in front of them. So still after almost 70 minutes of racing, still many battles going on, as you can see on the timing sheets. And the gap at the front not too big. They still need to have a pit stop, and well, an early pit stop can really mean an advantage. 2:27 on the last lap for Papa Michael, so he lost out while getting past some slower cars for position. So looks like he is out of the run. Looked like a good strategy to pit early for him, but at the moment doesn't seem to be working out. Petrepek and Steneker now, they are in P6 and 7, having very nice races, both of them. I think Peck was in front of Steneker at some point, but you see they are also struggling with the tires now. They are trying to have a look at their second stop, I think. Now, will there be any one-stoppers? That's the question. Nuno Miguel Abreu was trying to do it, I think, but he is too far back to make it work, in my opinion. Now Papa Michael with a 2:03.5, so an absolute best time of the race. He gets past Fillingham quite easily. Now he has a 23-second gap in front of him to Walby. That will be very difficult to bridge, of course, but well, he is into the top 10, and guys in front need to pit, so he should be well into the top 10 by the end of the race, barring any special incidents. Horvat still doing a 2:05.3, so still getting good laps in on a bit worn tires for him. Meanwhile, Jody Barraclaw looking at the inside of Fillingham. David Dore also wants to get past. Let's have a look from David Dore's front splitter. Getting a bit of drag, but slipstream, I mean, but not a lot. Very long and hard braking zone here for the hairpin. Barraclaw goes through on Fillingham. Mercedes on McLaren. And David Dore battling it out with Fillingham. Oh, good exit there for the Belgian, and no defense on the inside line for Fillingham. Will he try and keep it around the outside? He doesn't seem to try it. So P12 for Fillingham at the moment. A 2:03.3 for Papa Michael on the last lap, so even quicker than before. An absolute best time of the race for all the drivers. He is really going quickly, but in this case it will for sure not win him the race. Meanwhile, the gap at the front has grown a bit back to about 11-12 seconds, and Arella is now in the pits, first of the front runners. Now he is in the pits with 20 minutes to go, as we see some good action there on the main straight. Valentino Rossi versus Callum Morgan for P22. Callum keeping Rossi behind at the moment. And Abreu right behind him. Here's Callum Morgan defending his 22nd position. Rossi going wide. I think the Corvette that must be Manojlovic, I think. Yeah, it is. Manojlovic is in third at the moment. Quite a long way back from our race leader, but well, he did start from a bit further back as Rossi goes around the outside of Callum Morgan to take the position. Very nicely done there by Valentino Rossi. And Abreu is right there with him. So Callum Morgan losing it out to Rossi and Abreu there in those last few corners. Petrepek still behind Steneker, who jumps to the inside to break the toe a little bit. Oh, but Peck has some great speed here on the back straight. Steneker needs to go defensive. Around the outside. Don't think that will work. We saw too many passes on the inside where the car on the outside could not even give a slightest defense. So going around the outside in that hairpin will not work. Peter Peck will have to try and find another way past Henk Jan Stenneker. Janusz Migas. He is behind Fillingham. And he gets past Fillingham, going backwards at the moment. Just no defense on the back straight. Maybe put on a little bit too much wing. Because he does have the pace. He did a 2:04. No, sorry, 2:06.2 as a fastest lap. So he does have some decent pace. But it seems he's a sitting duck on the back straight. So maybe we'll get that info after the race. So Ralph Arella, he got into the pits early, to 11.2 on the last lap. So also he lost out a little bit, just like Papa Michael just after his early pit stop. Might just be a timing well, glitch not, but something to do with timing, but that does seem a bit slow, losing 6-7 seconds in a lap. It can happen, but it's not ideal, of course. Valentino Rossi really putting the pressure on Abreu now, and well, that is surprising to see. So I think Abreu has some kind of technical issue, because he was legitimately keeping the front runners from first position. And now he's battling with Rossi, who's doing 2:07s. So that's 2 to 3 seconds slower than Abreu's ultimate pace that we saw earlier in the race. Sasha Schult in the pits as well for his final pit stop of the race. Question will be, with 15 minutes to go, do you bother still coming in? I mean, Horvat can just focus on Lucas behind. He has Manojlovic 40 plus seconds behind, so I think he can cover him even with a pit stop. Could be that Horvat will be trying to just one-stop this race and get it done. Of course, he will have had to think of that and put fuel in on the first stop. While most two-stoppers would want to put in that fuel at the end of the race in their final stop to get a lighter car throughout. So if he did a splash and dash, which I doubt, because he had a really fast pit stop, he has to pit again or slow down significantly in the final stages of the race. So this is far from over. Arella got out of the pits in P6, 5 seconds behind Petr Pek. There's not really too much we can say about that. Petr Pek on the inside for the hairpin now. Can he make that stick? Yes, he can. He is side by side. And on the inside for the final turn. Sorry, I mistake the two cars. Stenneker able to defend. Now, Pek on the outside. What can he do here? Goes for the gap that was closing, but well, he could put his nose there. Very fortunate to not lose out any further. Arella is closing down fast on these guys, so Arella doesn't want to lose any time with that. doing 203.8 on the last lap, so going very quickly indeed, almost 2 to 3 seconds faster than Horvat and Lucas. It will depend on whether they will still pit or not. Really doubting if they will, to be honest. Mike White, we didn't hear anything or didn't say anything about him yet this race, but he is hunting down Marko Talevski in the Corvette for P16, doing 207, mid 207s at the moment. Looks like Talevski is struggling a bit with his tires. Valentino Rossi beached on the grass, so that's a freebie for Callum Morgan. I think, yeah, that's a retirement for Valentino Rossi. Unfortunately, we didn't see exactly what happened there, but well, another retirement from this race. We have 25 drivers still running, and as I said, Ralph Arella really getting among this battle with Peck and Stenneke. Peck letting Arella through, so he's hoping Arella will drag him past Stenneke at some point, depending on how Stenneke handles Arella, of course. They are fighting for position. He is allowed to defend, but I think, well, looking at lap times, a 204.1 on that last lap, again 2 seconds quicker than our race leader. It would be best for Stenneke to let him pass, and he seems to do so. If he just eases off the throttle now, brakes a bit early. No, he's actually defending. They're not side by side anymore, but Stenneke didn't make that very easy for Arella. In any case, Petre Peck is still within 1 second, and Jürgen Walby in the Manfilter Mercedes AMG is 2 seconds behind them, and still going very, very strong. With 10 minutes to go in this race, there's I would not say still all to play for, but things can still happen. Jack Camaletto, 650S versus 650S. Fillingham now on the inside defending and keeping Camaletto behind. So in the corners, Fillingham can defend. Now let's see, once they reach that back straight, if it's really wing settings that have cost him dearly this race. Because here through the turns he seems to be very much on the pace with the cars around him. To 7.3 now for Robert Horvat, so really slowing down with those worn tires. Of course, Arella still almost 1 minute behind, but no. Losing 1 minute in 10 minutes or 8 minutes of racing left would be difficult. But as long as Lucas doesn't pit, Camaletto having a look, as long as Lucas doesn't pit, I don't think Horvat will either. And they will just finish as 1 and 2. But they need to keep their tires going, and they need to have enough fuel in the car for these last 7 minutes. And I think the fuel is more of a concern than the tires. They just might be fuel saving. Fillingham could defend there on the back straight, but he leaves the inside line open for Camaletto. That was maybe not the wisest decision, and Camaletto goes through on Fillingham. Jürgen Walby joining the fun with Petre Peck and Stenneke. Can he get a P6 in his first RRL race? That would be quite an achievement, I think. Meanwhile, Arella 2.4.9 to 7.3 for Horvat. Manojlovic, if he can keep that P3, that comes out of nowhere. To be honest, he was well down outside of the top 10 in the opening stages of the race. So if he keeps this together, he has Arella 10 seconds behind, so that well, he is 2 seconds quicker a lap. So that might be tight, but that would be a very good result for Manojlovic, and a bit unexpected after his qualifying performance in the opening stages of the race. Ralph Arella to a 4.0 now, so again 3.3 seconds quicker than our race leader, and most importantly 3 seconds quicker than Manojlovic. So can Arella get on the podium? Our long-standing #1 ranked driver, not at the moment, but can he get a podium to start off his almighty autumn 2019 season? Sorry. Walby is the quickest of these guys. He got past Petr Pek. Sorry, we missed that. He's now right on the tail of Henk-Jan Stenneker. And the gap at the front down to 7 seconds. To a 7.3 once again for Horvat. To a 5.8 for Lucas. So I think Horvat is trying to preserve fuel, while Lucas is just going all out on his worn tires. That does seem to be the case. This could all still blow up in these final 5 minutes. Walby on the outside for the hairpin. He is already in front by the time he gets his car slowed down, but he doesn't get it slowed down and loses the position again to Stenneker, who needs to try that one again. Janusz Migas just got past Barraclaw for P11. Sasha Schultz in a P10 position, in a top 10 position at the moment. David Dore made it up into P9, Papa Michael up into P8. So in the end, all these guys got into the top 10. Nuno Miguel Abreu, our race leader for quite a bit of time in this race, at the moment in 21st, after some pit stop trouble. Eager to find out what happened to him there, and why he had to pit, I think 2 or maybe even 3 times if we missed the last one. Was it a penalty? Was it fuel not put in the car, or tires not changed? It could be all 3 of those. Arella down to 7 seconds behind Manojlovic. Lucas down to 7 seconds as well on the race leader, with 3 minutes still to go, so that's 2 to 3 laps that we still have to go. Quick look at the track map and see Robert now Horvat crossing the line to a 6.5, so he's picking up the pace as well again. And we have 2 minutes 50 to go. So that's 2 more laps. That's 44 laps that we will do. I think that's more than expected, and this could catch a couple of drivers out. I saw mention of 43 laps in the forums. Of course, taking into account maybe a 2-stop strategy, whereas some of these drivers have only pitted once, and you lose 40 seconds left, of course. So Walby getting past Stenneker now and up into P5. Very well done by him. Some great driving, and a 203.3 is his fastest lap. 203.3. He is... yeah. Jürgen Walby sets the fastest lap of this race, 1,000th of a second quicker than Nikos Papamichael. A 203.320 for Papamichael, a 203.319 for Walby. So the fastest lap will probably go to him unless people start setting Formula 1 fastest lap assaults here in the final stages of this race. The gap between Arella and Manojlovic down to 5 seconds. The gap at the front still stabilizing at 7.5 seconds. And Manojlovic cruising around 35 seconds off second position, but still in for a good podium position with 1 minute left on the clock. So Horvath crosses the line now. This will be... no, this will be the final lap, so it will be 43 laps. This will be the final lap. We'll just have to see if he makes it to the end, but I don't see him slowing down drastically yet. So he's confident he will make it to the end of this race. So all in all, to sum up, oh, as there's a slow car there, that was one of the Mercedes. Stefano Merazzi it is. No. Then Abreu also not. It's one of the pink Mercedes. Can't really find him right now. But anyway. Strategy winning this this race. To stop didn't seem to work. Of course, I think it was Papamichael. He did have some issues after his second stop. Could have meant he was a bit closer, of course. But the rest of the guys not opting for that second stop. Arella did so and is now almost onto the podium. But I don't think he will have enough time to make that pass happen. So here is our race leader as the counter goes down to 0. Robert Horvath starts this GT3 Masters Championship assault in great fashion by winning the first race here at the Shanghai Grand Prix circuit. Our title holder in the GT3 class wins the first race of the new championship and sets the bar for everyone else. A great job by Robert Horvath in the Porsche 991, taking the win here at Shanghai. Vlastimir Lucas, flawless race from him, was patient in the opening stages and picked up the pieces. Finishes about 7 seconds behind Robert Horvath. Very well done to him as well. Manojlovic gets the braking done for the final hairpin, and looks like he will finish in 3rd spot if he doesn't run out of fuel here at the end, but it doesn't seem he will. 3rd spot for Manojlovic, as already commented. Great job by him, coming from a long way back. Ralph Arella on the 2-stop strategy, very well done by him as well, and a great performance for the Porsche guys, Horvath and Arella together. Jürgen Walby P5 on his RRL debut. Petr Pek, great performance by him as well for a P6. Steneker P7, he will be happy with that, I think. Papamichael in 8th. He was actually right in the mix there for the race win, but it wasn't meant to be today. He just keeps off Sascha Schulz in P9 in his also league race debut here at RRL. David Dorga rounds up the top 10. And then it's Janusz Migas, Jody Barraclaw, Jack Camaletto, Simon Fillingham. Oh, Simon Fillingham. This is getting tasty. He is still in front. Getting past his teammate Callum Morgan, but Fillingham finishing in 14th. Talevski 15th. Andre Moll, good race for him as well in P16. Some good action for him, I think. Mike Wyatt, quite a lonely race, I think. We didn't see a lot of him, but a P17 for him. Then it's Clive Britton, Stefano Merazzi, Nick Phillips, Nino Miguel Abreu. Then Daniel O'Brien, Callum Morgan finishing in P23 in the end. Peter Hindle, David Kochka and Jas Forsberg, the last of the finishers, it seems. Now we have quite some non-finishers, unfortunately, due to reasons. Sorry, Forsberg also is a non-finisher, it seems, here on the timing screens. We have Rossi, Wood, Boss, Kirley, Bacchus and Carmen not finishing the race. And as I said, Jürgen Walby for the fastest lap of this race. So my apologies for the bad quality of the stream at the beginning of the race. For those who stuck with it, thank you very much for sticking with it. And we will see you in 2 weeks' time at the Twin Ring Motegi for the second round of this championship. It will be a shorter 60-minute race, which will start at 8 p.m. UK time with the qualifying session and then the race session. So if you want to be notified of this stream, just hit that bell icon, subscribe to the channel, like this stream if you did like it, and then we will see each other in 2 weeks' time. Once again, congratulations to Robert Horvat for the win here on the first race, and in the preparation for the second race, we will also have a look at the AM Cup standings and the championship standings so far. So stay tuned for that. Once again, if you want to join racing with us, you can still subscribe as a reserve to this GT3 championship, and most of the time some people drop out for the race and you can hop in. If you want to sign up for another series, we have our DTM series also fully subscribed starting this Sunday, where you can also sign up as a reserve, and our BTCC series will run at this time next week on Wednesday, and there are still 7 spots left there. So if you want to have a go with us, then just join us on our forum, Discord and website, and get racing with us very, very soon. So that's all for me. I hope you had a good experience with this GT3 race at Shanghai, and I will see you for sure in 2 weeks' time.